Hey, on my previous video, I ended posing a question. Is Joe Rogan sort of a pussy? I guess it's only fair for me to start this video with another question. Am I a pussy? The main focus of this video is on whether or not we, men or women, should be focused on bulking up our muscles. I did some of that, I guess, back in my 20s and ended up, I think, with a lot of muscle imbalances and a lot of pain in my neck and back. So those years were the very last time I ever had to go see a chiropractor. Roughly 9 years ago, when I first read Danny Dreyer's book, Chi, C-H-I, Chi Running, he got into that topic a little bit and he made so much sense. Why would we want to add more weight to our bodies if our goal is to become the best runner we can be? It seems like probably pretty quick for most of us as runners, we're going to reach a point of diminishing returns. In ultra running, my focus being on 100 milers as primary goals, we take 180 to maybe more than 200,000 steps per 100-mile run. So every time we land and lift, we're pushing up, we're carrying all that weight. So every single pound times that many lifts, it adds up fast. So I don't want to end up with painful upper body muscle imbalances. And I've also noticed that even vegan bodybuilders, not that there are very many, don't seem to have the longevity of their leaner counterparts. And I think there's a very logical reason for that. I'm going to have to speculate here. I doubt if there's ever been a study. However, as Danny Dreyer pointed out, that, or it might have been Dr. Michael Greger on nutritionfacts.org, for every increase in muscle mass that we build into our bodies, we then have to feed those muscles as long as we want to retain them. So that means we have to take in more calories. Now, our liver and kidneys are pretty fixed. Our body organs have to support us. And if we have to take in more calories than we really need, if we were going to maintain less muscle mass, people artificially pump that up. And that could be a lot of weight. We have to take in more nutrients. The body has to process all that. That is a stress on the system. Having extra, arguably useless in a lot of ways, muscle mass is a tax on our body's critical organs, in my opinion. So if being leaner and wanting to become more efficient at moving through a 100-mile course makes me a pussy, then I'm definitely a pussy. And of course, I'm way too smart to get into a ring with a black belt. Probably smarter to outrun an angry black belt. Another angle on the being a pussy topic would be on the dietary side, being 100% plant-based, going very much against societal norms. That is, on a kind of emotional, intellectual, practical level, far more difficult than going with the flow. I think for a guy like Joe Rogan, it's really easy to pick on that smaller segment of society. That is the path of least resistance. So kind of sticking up for the helpless animals that are being abused by the billions is a way to take on heavily moneyed interests, popular media people. Definitely an uphill battle. Probably not something for a pussy to do. On a practical level, while I don't have an incredible muscle mass by any means, I can operate a chainsaw for a long period of time and move heavy logs and firewood for hours and hours. I can get the things done that need to be done. At the same time, I absolutely know that as I age, I need to do more strength training. It's probably my biggest weakness. Winter's on the way. I will definitely get back to working on my push-ups, hopefully my pull-ups. I've got the pull-up bar in the basement. I almost never use it. I get so out of shape from not using it, I kind of have to start by just simply hanging from the bar. I do put some energy and effort into trying to stay within a pretty tight body weight, pretty much in the middle of my healthy BMI weight range. And by doing so, I keep a lot of the fat off of my waistline. And by simply doing that, we kind of create a mirage. It makes the rest of our junk look a little better. 3, 4, 5. Oh! And honestly, I think that to appear attractive to others is much more about your attitude and your general energy level. Killing and eating harmless animals purely for an unnecessary pleasure is increasingly not seen as an attractive trait. If you're eating that animal, somebody had to kill it. And to maintain a lot of muscle mass, those extra calories we eat, there's a lot of energy and carbon footprint that goes into creating that extra but unnecessary food consumption. Over the past 3 years, I've been running more and more ultra marathons at longer and harder courses, tougher and longer distances. Using the trekking poles as a form of nominal support, it seems like I've built extra upper body strength. Doing the recent nearly 37-hour 100-mile race in Virginia resulted in less soreness in my hands, arms, shoulders, and chest than I experienced 3 years ago doing 24 hours on similar terrain. So running ultra distances may not build muscle bulk, but there is a different type of strength that happens there. For a very narrow focus on what we really are at our primal core. So I think it's important that we develop muscles and a little bit of muscle bulk that'll allow us to be the very best runners that we can. So if you think I'm a pussy, hit the like button, subscribe, watch and share my videos. Thank you for watching.